So now it's time to have fun, enjoy yourself, become a good golfer, play the piano more, do all of those things you've been looking forward to. And I agree with the gentleman who just spoke that life after the UN, after working at the UN, is wonderful. You won't miss it, I don't think, very much, but you will miss the people that you met here. So all the best to you.
I think I lost a little of my calmness during the last few months.
I'd like to say something.
Very happy.
I think that Linda mentioned the feature of Shershri that many do not know about, which is his piano ability.
Yes.
He's quite a pianist. And I think that we should enjoy a bit more of that now that you are in this new realm. Have a function. We have the president of Affix New York here with us, and we're looking for talent, for fundraising, for awareness of the quality of the retirement life for UNers. Put your imagination about those lines.
And offer 2 musical jobs.
And I can tell all of you, if he goes for a concert, don't miss buying a ticket because you will enjoy it. He is a tremendous pianist. Like on everything Shershri does, he's very low-key, he's extremely modest, but there is a lot of indelible mark that many of us have from Shershri. Whether we were in the panel of council, whether we were appellants, whether we were members of the board, in whichever capacity, you contributed with that modesty that characterizes you, which is not common. We have the boasting to be the most common, but the modest like you make the difference in an organization like this, and we have to thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for having been such a collaborator, such a tremendous supporter to that great human being that was Vijaya Kathleen Claxton. Thank you.
It was such a privilege to be part of her office, and I learned so much from her. And I wanted to say, when you were talking about the piano concert, I remember you told me once you're in the secretariat and you saw from afar the poster for my piano concert, and you saw my name in big letters, and your heart sank because you thought I died.
That's what friends are for, sure. To remind you of where you are.
Don't worry, there's a lot of after.
Well, one thing I wanted to say was I've had a feeling for the UN since I was a child, and I remember when I hear something about the UN, or in particular Dag Hammarskjöld, for some reason, on the news or whatever, whenever I heard the name Dag Hammarskjöld or anything about the UN, I didn't really know. I was probably 10 or something, but didn't really know what it was about, but I just had a feeling for it. And I grew up in Connecticut, and my school came to visit the UN, and little did I know that I would end up working here. But I remember buying this little flute from Yugoslavia. It was a square with little sculptures in it, and I don't know, I remember learning about the major bodies of the UN, and that they were all in New York except there was one in The Hague, and I was so grateful that we got a chance to go to The Hague a few months ago. That was my one and only stamp on my laissez-passer in 36 years. So, but I was really happy. I just really have a feeling for, and I did, even though there were no tours open for the International Court of Justice at the time, I got a chance to go in the evening when the lights were on. It's called the Peace Palace, and the lights were on it, and there was a kind of a little bit of a misty night, and it's just really beautiful, peaceful. So I'm very grateful to have had that experience. I'm also, I'm of course very happy to have been such a, well, to have had a part in the justice system for quite a few years, and to have been able to support Vijoya and to support all of us as we were trying to start the new system. But I also, I spent quite a few years in peacekeeping, and I happened to be there when peacekeeping forces all over the world won the Nobel Peace Prize. So I felt, you know, I felt like I was part of that, you know. Tony, right? You were there at the time? And were you there at the time?
Yes, I was.
My sister even made, like, embroidered like a Nobel Peace plaque that I have in my apartment, so I really felt that was special. And I have a friend who was in the Canadian military, and he was assigned to the peacekeeping force in Cyprus at that same time. He comes to New York from time to time, and we greet each other as fellow Nobel laureates. So, any questions?
What did you do with the money?
Well, I don't know. Some of you probably know I bought a car on June 1st. And some of it went to this.
What have you learned here in these 36 years?
That's too deep a
Okay, sorry.
question.
You can email it to us. Are you happy to be leaving?
Yeah, I'm sure I will be still have a connection, and I will always feel you know, a close connection to the ideals and the vision of the UN, and I'm sure I'll still participate in programs and things that support the ideals of the UN.
Try NAFIX.
I will.
Of course.
I'm getting to that.
You have an institutional memory of this whole outfit,
Yeah.
so you're going to be able to
Oh,
hear too.
definitely.
Anybody else want to speak?
I guess I do. I don't want to steal Brian's thunder as the head of the office, but because Andrei Terekov, who's the executive director of the Office of Administration of Justice, can't be here today, I just wanted to pass on his best wishes and his thanks for Surashri being willing to come on board when the office was transitioning from the panel of counsel. He was our great institutional link between that fine tradition that was the panel of counsel. I served as a volunteer counsel, and I know that I came to count on both Vijoya and Surashri in their tireless assistance to all of their volunteers. I can remember my first walking in the door to the panel of counsel and seeing the same stack of paper, but also knowing that, well, that Vijoya and Surashri were really the heart and soul of the panel. And I think, in particular, as a non-lawyer, Surashri provided something which I think, for those of us who are lawyers, or sharks as they are often called, are really underappreciated, particularly with distressed staff members, and that's really what the panel and the Office of Staff Legal Assistance deals with, and that is to provide them some comfort and compassion, and that kind listening ear that makes people feel heard and understood. And I think you certainly played that role spectacularly for many, many years, and gave it, provided an excellent example to everybody as to the other side of this, which is not the law but the heart. And I should also just say that I stand as someone who myself adored the UN from an early age and came on a school visit. I am awed to be here, standing in the presence of so many, yourself and your colleagues, who have provided such long service to the organization, and I thank you. And I know on behalf of the executive director he does as well.
Now what, Surashri?
There's still a whole lot
If
of
you have any more room, eat some more.
Yeah.